Hello, I am Victoria Seed and I help individuals and families affected by a loved one's addiction. I live in Manchester in the UK, but I help people worldwide. So if you are living with somebody else's drinking or drug use, then I can help. And every Wednesday, I do a session at 11 o'clock, just a short session, 10-ish minutes on a topic related to family recovery. And we talk about all sorts of things here. So if you haven't tuned in before, please pop in and have a look at what I cover every week. What we're going to be talking about today is how to set your Christmas boundaries now. So, if you're in this situation, I don't need to tell you how important it is to set boundaries. But it isn't that simple, is it? Because when we set boundaries, we have to think about what those boundaries are, and we then have to assert those boundaries as well. And that is a hard bit. And not only do we have to assert it, but we also have to keep repeating it and at particular times so that we minimize any conflict. And today I'm just going to talk about some of the key things that you can use to set your Christmas boundaries now, because Christmas, if you don't celebrate Christmas, that's fine. Most people still have some time off, right? So what I would recommend you do is have a listen and go away and implement what I am talking about, because it's not just about tuning into things like this, it's about taking the learning and going away and doing the doing, which also is the hard part. So if you're living in this situation, don't worry. There are things that you can do to influence a change, not just in your loved one, but in yourself as well. Because you can't change the other person, you can only change you. And through changing you, I've seen it over and over and over and over again with my clients in my family work over the last nearly 2 decades. The other person or other people around you naturally start to change because you are asserting your boundaries, you are changing you, and that is the only thing you can work on. So let's have a look at some of these points I'm going to tell you about. If you are watching and you want to ask any questions, drop them in the comments. I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you are ready to take the next step and, to work with me, then please drop me a message. You can get in touch with me, no problem at all. And I'm also going to just tell you about a little freebie that I have, which you can grab here, vestaapproach.co.uk/freebie. And that has all of my top 10 tips, a really handy checklist, and really good organizations that can help you from free to paid. So check that out. Go and get it and it'll drop into your inbox. All right, let's get going. So first of all, when you're going to set your boundaries, the first thing that you want to think about is, what do you really want? So if we are talking specifically about Christmas, what do you want your Christmas to look like? And when you start looking at that, just get a pen. I plan my whole life with a pen and a pencil. Just get a pencil, pen, notepad, write it down, because when you get it out of your head, you get clarity once you put it down on paper. Use your notes in your phone, whatever works for you, spreadsheet, whatever. Ask yourself what you really want and write it down. What do you want your Christmas to look like? What can you do in there as well to get to the Christmas or the holiday that you want? What can you change? What can you do? And then think about what impact your loved one's substance using behaviors is going to have on you and your family or your relationship. And then from that, you'll start to establish a few things that you can ask your loved one for. So write it down. What do you really want? Now, you might end up with a list of about 55 things, but what I'm going to say to you is pick out 1 to 3 things that are important to you. All right, so 1 to 3 things. So is it you know, I would love it if on Christmas Day you could avoid having a drink. If your loved one is alcohol dependent, that may not be realistic, okay? So if they're experiencing any withdrawals, any shaking, anything like that, and they need to have a drink to function, you've got to think about being realistic, all right? If your loved one is in that situation, then reach out for help, because there are things that we can do to help you. There are things that you can suggest as a family member and keep an eye on as well. So 1 to 3 things. Now, with your boundaries, it's not about putting a boundary around somebody else. So you're not going to say you're not having a drink or Christmas, because that isn't realistic. It's going to cause conflict. What you're going to say is what you would like and how it would make you feel, all right? I'll tell you about how to say things in a moment. So the boundaries that you want to put around you, not around them. Pick 1 to 3 things. All right, 1 to 3 things. That's it. Now, number 3, planning a time to speak to your loved one when they are sober. So don't let this all come out in a heated moment where there's conflict, where your loved one's intoxicated and you're using it against them and you're giving ultimatums. Because let's face it, everybody does it at times. Don't beat yourself up about it. Move on. But you've got a part to play in this. And the best time that you can have this conversation is when your loved one is sober, where there's no pressure. And the thing is, what I found that my clients struggle with the most is this, because you've almost got to not rock the boat, but when things are going well, in my experience, people tend to kind of just glide along and they don't want to rock the boat. But that is the best time to bring up this. It might be in the morning when your loved one's sober, when you're just having a chat or a coffee or whatever. Don't think that you have to plan a really formal sit down conversation. Think about how your loved one engages in particular. Is it when you're on a dog walk? Is it when you're driving in the car? Is it on the phone? Is it in passing in the kitchen? You don't have to plan it so that it's really difficult. Okay, so planning that time. When are they going to be sober? So loosely plan it. There's no point planning this in for 9 o'clock at night if your loved one is getting wasted from 5. No, you need to do it at another time of day. So figure out, write it down. Number 3, what's a good time or day? All right. Think about that. And then what I want you to do for number 4 is focus on you, your feelings, what you need, and use I statements. So I've done other videos on that. Go and check them out over on my Facebook page at The Vesta Approach, or over on the Addiction and Family Recovery channel on YouTube, because the videos are there. Facebook's got more. It's got all the history of all the videos, so you can go back and have a look. So what I want you to do is think about using I statements. So with I statements, we start with the I. So I feel worried when, I'm starting to think about Christmas, that, things might be difficult if you drink too much or you get intoxicated, or however you phrase it, right? What I would really like is if we could think about, you not having a drink until XYZ time, or, just not drinking while the kids are up, or maybe not going out to see your friends on Christmas Eve and getting smashed, or whatever it is that's important to you. But try and frame it in a positive way. Now, the best way to do this is plan it out. So I feel when what I would like is, or because, or whatever. So I feel worried when I'm thinking about Christmas because, in recent times when we've had events, this has happened. And, I understand that you've got a problem, or if there's anything I can do to help, you can add that in. You don't have to, just keep it brief, keep it simple. What I need is, what I would like is, so you've always got to ask what you want. So I feel when, because, what I would like is. That's it. Don't ask for everything all at once. your 1 to 3 things you could have a chat about over the next few weeks because we've got time. What is a priority? Plan that in and go and have that conversation. And the last thing, number 5, is be direct and be assertive. You've got to believe in what you're saying. So like I'm saying it now, you say it like that. Don't go in and be all coy and, unconfident. You've got to say it with confidence if you can. Yeah, believe in what you're saying, because the more you assert your boundaries, the better. So let's just recap. Ask yourself what you really want, write it down. Pick between 1 and 3 boundaries that you want to put around you, not around them. See the difference there? I feel worried. I would really like it if speak in using I language. You're going to say you a little bit, aren't you? But not too much. We always start with I, okay? And you're allowed to name that behavior. That's fine, but we're doing it in a calm manner. Nobody can argue with your feelings. They can give it a go, but you can say, well, that's how I feel. You may not get a good response. You might get, minimize your feelings, minimize, in which case you can leave the conversation and go back to it. Or you can just repeat yourself a couple of times and say, I'm just letting you know how I feel. I'm going to leave it with you. I'm going to go. You don't even have to wait for a response there and then. You can just say, I'm going to leave it with you. Can you come back to me with how you feel about it and any ideas that you got about how we can plan things in a nice way for us, for the kids, for the family, whoever it is. It might be one of your kids, So what you want, pick 1 to 3 boundaries, plan a time in to speak. Focus on the I, not the you. Use your I statements and be direct and be assertive. That is it. So let me know how you get on with this. Do not forget that you can grab my top 10 tips at bestapproach.co.uk/freebie. And if you need any help at all, I have a £99 course starting in January, which would just run. So have a look at that. I have one-to-one support available now for a couple of people. I've got a couple of people finishing, so please ask me about that and go and have a look at the website if you want any more information, or drop me a DM. That's it. Take care.